Hello guys. Today we are diving into the legendary clash between Anatoly Karpov and Garry Kasparov in the round 10th of Linares 1993. This game is full of brilliant ideas, surprising twists, so make sure to watch till the end. I am your host Bison. Karpov starts the game with d4, knight to f6, c4 and g6. Moving towards the West Indian defense, preparing for bishop to g7. After this, Karpov develops his knight on c3 and bishop to g7, preparing for castle. Now comes e4, taking control over the center and preparing to push his e-pawn further. Hence, Kasparov played d6, stopping the move e5. After this, f3, supporting the e4 pawn while also preparing to develop the dark square bishop to e3 backed up by the queen. This gives white a rock-solid position, no weakness, just pure control. After this, Kasparov simply castled and Karpov develops his bishop on e3, supporting the d4 pawn. Maybe white can bring his queen forward later and even go for long castling. After this, Kasparov strikes towards the center by playing e5. Here white can push his pawn further, but Karpov, showing no interest, just develops his another knight on e2, supporting the d4 pawn, c6, controlling both d5 and b5 squares while also giving queen a clear path to jump on the queen side action. Queen to d2 by Karpov. Maybe he can do long castle, or maybe rook can join later. After this, Kasparov now develops his another knight on d7, supporting the e5 as well as the knight. Karpov brings his rook into the game and he eagerly wants to push d5 next, creating pressure towards the black. Okay, a6 by Kasparov, preparing for the move b5. After this, Karpov takes on e5, knight takes e5, attacking the c4 pawn. White defends it by b3. Now comes b5, attacking towards the queenside pawn chain, and Karpov simply takes on b5. But that's a mistake because now black get a dream queenside pawn structure, no weakness, all control, and in chess you don't just hand your opponent free upgrades. Instead of this, white must take on the d6 pawn, but never mind because Karpov instantly grabs the d6 pawn now, forcing a queen exchange, but this exchange would lag black to invade his rook into the 6th rank. So instead, he just retreats his knight, dodging the queen trade like a pro. After this, Karpov made a mistake by playing f4. This move attacks the knight, but it also weakens the pawn structure. And remember, white hasn't castled yet. Pushing pawn like this, it basically inviting trouble. Instead of this, white must consider the move h4, pushing the pawns towards the king side and create an attack on the black king. Now, Kasparov pushes his b pawn further, attacking the knight, and Karpov retreats his knight on b1. But this is a mistake because now Kasparov placed his knight on g4, punishing white for pushing that f-pawn. It's created serious weakness, and now the knight jumps in, attacking the bishop. Okay, bishop to d4, asking for bishop exchange, and Kasparov accepted this. And after this, Kasparov grabs the pawn on a2. Now black has a dominant position. Now you can see that black is creating serious threat like c5. Okay, so h3, attacking the knight, but Kasparov played c5, attacking the queen. And now guys, we reach the craziest part of this game. Hold on to your seats because Kasparov missed something crazy after the move h3. Here, black can play this insane move, which is queen to h4 check, and the only move to defend this is g3. Now you can see that both queen and knight are under attack. But in this position, black can play this outstanding move. Now just pause the video and try to find the next killer move which black can play in this position. The move is to sacrifice the rook. Because suppose after bishop takes e2, then comes queen takes g3 check, and after king to d2, queen takes f4 check, king to c2 and knight to e3 check, king to b2 and c5. The queen is under attack and the rook is also. Hence after the move rook takes e2 check. Here, in this position, the best move is to capture it with the king. And after this, queen takes g3, h takes g4, and now comes a god level move which is next to impossible for humans to find, which is knight to c5, opening the diagonal for the bishop, and you can see the threat. If white tries to block the route of the bishop by playing f5, this move doesn't work, because then black can give the check from the a6 square, and you have no other option to block this check with the rook. Otherwise, if black tries to slide his king on d2, then comes knight takes b3 check, and white has to lose his queen as well as the game. So in the actual game, after the move c5, then comes queen to g1. He brings his queen back on g1. After this, Kasparov defends his knight back on f6. Okay, e5, attacking the knight, knight to e4. But wait guys, here the craziest part of this position is after the move e5, where white is attacking the knight, but in reality, black doesn't even need to defend this. Instead of this, black can play rook e8. And if white grabs the knight, then after queen takes f6, you can now look at the white king, which is struck in the center like a sitting duck. Here black can easily launch a full-scale attack, and this position is completely winning for black. So after the move knight to e4, h4, stopping the move queen to h4 check. And after this, Kasparov pushed his c pawn further, attacking the b3 pawn, and knight to c1 by Karpov, hitting the rook. But wait guys, this is of no use, because in this position, Kasparov sacrificed his rook and played c3. Because after knight takes a2, then comes c2, forking the rook and the knight, and if white tries to just move his rook on c1, then black can play this amazing move, which is knight takes e5. And if black captured the pawn, now comes bishop to g4, and you can see the threat. If rook to c1, then knight to d3 check, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, and guys, game is over. Okay, so in the actual game, after the move c2, queen to d4 by Karpov, keeping an eye on the d1 square. After this, Kasparov takes on d1 with a queen, king takes d1, and knight at d goes to c5, asking for queen exchange, and Karpov exchanged the queen, king to c2, and the final move by Kasparov in this position is knight to f2, and after this Karpov resigned, because here black is creating multiple threats like bishop to f5 check, and black rook will enter into the second rank later, which creates a serious trouble for white. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. Hit that subscribe button for more, because it motivates me a lot. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.